一人です。
Welcome Bitcoin friends, Bitcoin Mamo. Today we're going to look at the Bitcoin chart, we're going to do some TA, we're going to look at some possible trade setups, are we going to get a bounce on this big drop, also look at the Bitcoin futures chart and compare some alts to Bitcoin during this current month. So I just want to compare a few altcoins to Bitcoin since the start of the month of April. And as we can see, Bitcoin is currently down 4.8%. Ethereum in the red is up 3.4%. Polkadot up 7.1%. And Link is up 10.4%. So we can see a bit of divergence here since the start of the month where altcoins have been going up. And now that Bitcoin is having a bit of a drop, we can see these altcoins coming back down again. But so far they have outperformed Bitcoin this month. So this is Bitcoin on the daily chart, and we do have this trend line here on the volume. You can see we've been getting descending volume ever since the 10th of January, and we've also got this triangle pattern on the RSI. So I am looking for one of these to break. Either we break below this trend line on the RSI and have a bigger drop, or we break above the trend line, and also be looking for this volume trend line to break to dictate the direction that Bitcoin is going to head in. So we have been getting a lot of divergences here. We can see here from this run we did have higher highs on the price, lower highs on the RSI, led to this drop. That's bearish divergence, and we had it again here, higher highs and lower highs on the RSI, and this led to this second drop here. And then with this blue line we did have hidden bullish divergence, which is higher lows on the price action and lower lows on the RSI. So I will be looking for another divergence here on this current drop. So we could have lower lows on the RSI and higher lows on the price, which would be hidden bullish divergence. We do also have this M pattern here with the lower highs. And if we were to break below this level here at 50,280, I do think would come all the way back down to the base here around 46,400, and that would coincide with breaking this trend line and having a bigger drop on the daily RSI here. Personally, I do think we're going to get a bounce around the 52 to 54,000 level, and I'll go into that in a bit. So just looking on the Bitcoin futures chart, we also have this triangle on the RSI, and it did look like we were going to break out here, but now we have come back into this triangle. So also be watching this trend line to see if we do get a bounce here. The stochastic RSI is coming down on the daily, and it looks like it has room to come down also. Another thing to note here is we do have this gap here, this futures gap, and we could be coming down to fill that gap and then possibly getting a bounce, and that gap is down at 54,485. Another thing to point out here, if we draw the fib retracement, we can see that the golden pocket here is exactly where this gap is. So there is some confluence between the two, and we do like to retrace to this golden pocket area. And just to show that on this previous drop here, if we draw the fib retracement from the bottom to the top, we can see the golden pocket here, and we did pull back exactly into this golden pocket before bouncing again. So just looking at the EMA ribbon on the daily, we can see this has supported us ever since this bull run started around $10,000. We've been bouncing off this several times. We did get right to the bottom here on this drop and supported us the last few times. Currently we are going into this ribbon, and we can see the bottom of this ribbon is at 52,450, and I do think this ribbon will hold. I do have these two triangle patterns drawn here, just connecting the lows and the highs, and if we were to take the measured move, taking this second touch point here, I'm not including this as the first touch point as it's too far away, counting it from here. So from the second touch point, we take the measured move and move it to the breakdown area. We can see that would take us down to around 54,000. And this area would actually line up with this trend line here. We can see it gets the measured move pretty much spot on. Just looking at the 4-hour EMA ribbon, we can see that once we did break this ribbon, we have had this big drop. And on previous occasions when we've broken this ribbon, you can see we usually do come back up into the ribbon to test it, and we usually get rejected on the first go and go lower, and then eventually we break through and use it as support. So I do expect us to we could get a bounce here, come into this ribbon, maybe test the top of this triangle, and then come all the way down to this measured move or this trend line, and then get the full bounce. I'll also be watching here for some divergence on the 4-hour. If we do get lower lows on the RSI here, but higher lows on the price action, this will be hidden bullish divergence, and this should also result in a bounce. So we can see currently the RSI is at 32 level, and the previous low here was at a 29 level, so we're not too far off of it at the moment. We just have to watch how the next day plays out and whether there's a divergence there. So I just wanted to pull up the Bybit chart here. You can see we've been in this channel with these white lines, and we have this midline here which has acted as support and also resistance several times. And we did drop out of this channel, but we did come back into it here, used it as support for a bit there, and now we have broken back down below it. We do also have these other triangles drawn here, just this red triangle connecting the tops and the lows, and we can see that measured move from the triangle, this yellow triangle actually, which we looked at on the other chart, also lines up with the bottom of this triangle, and also this trend line here that connected the tops and the bottom here also corresponds in a similar area here around the 54,000, 54 to 54.5k level. So I am expecting a bounce here, and as we did show on the futures chart, this is also the golden pocket area. You can see a few things agreeing here. And just looking here at the 1-hour chart, what we can see at the moment is we do have a bullish divergence here. So we can see here we do have higher lows on the RSI and lower lows on the price action. So just to see that a bit better here. This is only on the 1-hour chart. It can indicate the bottom, but we would like to see it on a higher time frame like the 4-hour chart possibly. And just looking on the 2-hour chart, we do also have this bullish divergence, but it isn't quite confirmed yet. Would like to see it come back at least above the bodies of these candles around 56,765. And just looking on the 4-hour at the moment, we don't have the divergence on the 4-hour. We do have lower lows here on the RSI and lower lows on the price action. So although it's present on the 1 and the 2-hour, I would like to see it on the 4-hour also. We could possibly get a bounce here and then come back down lower, creating a divergence here on the 4-hour. But we'll just have to watch that closely. We can see the stochastic RSI on the 4-hour has cooled off, and on the 6-hour it's also cooled off all the way back down, and the 12 hours also quite low at a 6 reading. So we are a bit oversold at the moment. So I do think either we come down here to the measured move in a short time, or we get a bounce maybe up to the top of this triangle and then come back down, creating a divergence as well as meeting this measured move. So how am I playing this? Well, currently I do have a position at 55,150, which is below the price action. I did get in down here at about 52,000 on a trade initially, and I've been taking profits here along the way up, just covering the high fees and also taking some profits on top. And then I have sold on some of these drops. I did sell more here, and just recently I did add more here at 55,511, just at the bottom here. So if I do pull up here, these two red lines are the 200 moving average on the 4-hour and the 200 exponential moving average on the 4-hour. And I did have orders placed here. I had one at the top of this moving average and also at the top of the second moving average, and it has raised my average buy-in, but it is still below the price. I do have orders layered here all the way down to this measured move and also around this trend line area. Is if you pull up the 50 daily moving average here, we can see these two yellow lines. Currently they're at 54,370, and 53,150. So I do expect if we come down, we will get a bounce here, and this would also be in alignment around this measured move and this red trend line. So there are a lot of points of confluence here where we could possibly bounce. So that's how I'm playing this current price action. I do also have a similar trade on another account, which is entry price at 54,900. It's currently up 20% using 10 times leverage, and I did cash out on the initial drop, so I have profited $344 today. So thanks for watching. Hope you enjoyed that analysis. I wish I did make it one day earlier, give you a bit more of a heads up on how I was trading it. But this is not financial advice. Make your own decisions with trading. And I'm Bitcoin Mamo. Thanks for watching. See you next time. Bye.
一人ですか？